Hello, I'm back again, reading out of the Book of Expert Secrets, reading out of Pound number 2 Secret, beginning with number 2, help them break their 4-minute mile. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the story of Roger Bannister, who broke the 4-minute mile on May 6, 1954. Prior to that, everyone thought it was impossible, and after Roger broke it, proving it was possible, many people since then have been able to do it. Providing it was possible, many people since then, that certain people get when they see someone else do something they thought was impossible, gives them the belief they need to also achieve that same goal. When you see someone else doing something, that's giving you belief and making it possible for you to move forward, and that's making you want to accomplish the things that you want to in your online business. The certainty people get when they see someone else doing something they thought was impossible gives them the belief they need to also achieve that same goal. On August the 17th, 2004, a similar record was shattered that gave me that belief that I needed to chase after my dreams. I had started my online business in 2002 while I was wrestling and going to school. Russell Brunson is talking about himself. My beautiful new bride was supporting her job as a student athlete, and I felt guilty because I wanted to help provide. But the NCAA rules kept me from having a real job. So I turned to the internet with the goal to make an extra $1,000 per month. If my little business could do that, then I would feel like success. For about 2 years, I was learning how this game was played, and a few small success like my potato gun DVD. Remember we talked about Russell's potato gun and DVD when he first started out? That was his product that got him started in his online business. And about that time, I heard about an online marketer named John Reese who was about to launch a new product he had created called Traffic Secrets. Russell also has a book out called Traffic Secrets. I heard rumors from friends that his goal was to make $1 million selling that course. I didn't think too much about it at the time, but I was excited to buy a copy of his new course. A few days before his launch, I went on a family trip to a lake in the southern Idaho called Bear Lake. When I got to that town, I realized that there was no internet access anywhere on that lake except in a small library that I had a very slow dial modem. About halfway through our trip, I went into town and waited in line to get online so I could check my emails. And that's something I do daily. Check your emails. If you don't check your emails, you won't know what's going on inside of your online business. When it was my turn, I opened my email and saw an email from John Reese with a subject line that said, "We did it." I wasn't sure what he was talking about, so I opened the email and read a story that changed my life. He said that earlier that day, August 17, 2004, they had launched his new course, and in just 18 hours, they had made $1 million. That is so awesome. As I read that, everything around me slowed down to a stop. He hadn't made $1 million total selling his course. He had made $1 million in less than a day. He had broken the 4-minute mile. As I thought more about that, I realized that my goal to make $1,000 a month was so small. I then realized that to accomplish this goal, he had to sell 1,000 copies of 1,000 courses. And suddenly it became too tangible and too real, and so real for me. I realized that it was what I wanted to do. I wanted to make $1 million. Who wouldn't want to make $1 million? It completely transformed what I thought was possible. And because of that, I started thinking differently and started acting differently. It will give you a different mindset about things. Making $1 million a day. With a year of reading that email, I didn't make $1 million, but I got close. And the second year I tried it and I missed again. But within the 3 years, I had made $1 million in a single year. And Russell said he had been trying for 3 years, and this is my third year going through the process, building my business online. It's not a fly by night thing. It's not a overnight process. It takes time. You have to grow your online business as well so as learn. And you're going to have your failures, but it's up to you to keep on moving forward. With excuse me. And then later we actually made $1 million in a day. It was something that I didn't think was possible. And anything is possible if you put your mind to it. That's what I'm trying to do. Make things possible because I'm trying to put my mind to it. It didn't make logical sense. They didn't talk about things like this when I was in school. But because John did it, I knew I could do it too. I believe that every good movement has something like this that people can aspire to inside of ClickFunnels. And our funnel hacker movement, we created a club we call our 2 Comma Club. It is basically a free website where people can see pictures and stories about their peers inside ClickFunnels who have created a funnel that has made it at least $1 million. I wanted them to see that others before them had actually broken the 4-minute mile and that they can as well. I want them to start thinking and acting differently, just like I did when I saw that John could do it. You can see how we did at www.2commaclub.com or by looking at this image. And this is the image he's talking about the 2 Comma Club that he has inside of ClickFunnels. Russell does. What is the 4-minute mile for your movement? Initially, the 4-minute mile would need to be something that you were already accomplished, so you can show them it's possible and give them hope and belief that they can do it as well. As you shift your focus to helping others accomplish the same results and breaking their 4-minute mile, you'll notice something strange will happen inside of your movement. Your focus will be taken off of you making money and into giving results to others. And for some odd reason, as soon as you make that shift in your thinking, almost instantly, you'll start making more money. And that's one thing you have to do. You have to change your mindset. You have to change your way of thinking about things. I'm not sure why it works that way, but it always does. And as more of your members break the 4-minute mile, more people will be attracted into your movement and it will start to grow faster than ever thought possible. And anything is possible. Number 3, let them self-identify. Now that you've helped people to see the vision of where you are taking them, the next goal is to get them to identify your movement. People need to be able to identify with who they are in your group, or there would be no connection with you or the other members. When you're in a group, you have to stay connected and have communication. Do you want to know what's going on in your online business? When we first launched ClickFunnels, I created a webinar that I call Funnel Hacking. And during that presentation, I first taught this concept. Later, I started to watch as members of our group started to call themselves funnel hackers. I thought this was the coolest thing. So we created a t-shirt with funnel hacker on the front. We then started to give this shirt to everyone who opened a ClickFunnels account. People identified with that name and it became part of who they are. I even had one person who joined ClickFunnels, got the funnel, hack a t-shirt, who messaged me months later. He told me that while he had never logged into ClickFunnels, he never canceled because he loved his funnel hacking t-shirt and felt like he was a part of our community. And he didn't want to miss out on being part of our tribe. When I started to realize the power of helping people identify with your movement, after a year later, at our funnel hacking live event, we had an idea for 10 different t-shirts that we were going to give to our members who attended. We let our members vote on the saying that reasoned with them the most. The t-shirt that ended up winning by a long short shot simply stated, "I build funnels." It helped people identify who they are within our movement. When someone joins you, they need to be able to identify by saying, "I am Tarria." You have to identify yourself. When they can do that, they have an identity shift, which is very important. They get a new identity as part of the group. They become a new person, putting the past behind them and looking toward their new future. And that's what I'm doing. I'm putting the past behind me. I have a different mindset and I'm looking towards my future. And y'all should do as well. Brandon and Caleb Poland from my inner circle had built a good weight loss company based on their maiden name, Tool. Their company at the time was called Tool Time Trainer, and they had built up a good following of people who loved what Caitlin taught. I talked to them about this concept of getting people to do self-identity with their movement. And they realized that because of how they had named their company, it was very difficult for others to buy into it because her brand was her maiden name. Her customers could never identify with it. So while they followed her as a characteristic leader, she wasn't creating movement. There was no culture. I pointed that out at one of the meetings, and they knew that to get to the next level in their business, they would need to make a change. You have to make a change in order to move to the next level. And you also have to have a different mindset as well. You must take action. As they were flying home from the meeting, Caitlin had an idea. She thought Lady Boss weight loss. That's what it's going to be. Then they will say, "I am Lady Boss." By the time they had landed, they had changed their message. They quickly launched the culture, and within 3 months, they saw their customer churn drop by 10%, which for them was equal to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. On top of that, their true fans, the ones who will purchase anything and everything they produce, now identifies themselves as Lady Bosses and continue to grow by hundreds of new people every day. Recently, I've been working on a new supplement business, and I was trying to figure out what I could put in our package that would get our new customers to identify our product and movement we are starting to create. The new product is an energy supplement called Initiate. I knew it would be hard to figure out who our supplement was. for, because there are literally thousands of energy supplements. Yes, there are a lot of energy supplements. And I have CBD products myself. Who is this for? Everyone? No, I needed to find my niche with the energy sub-market. The problem with most energy drinks is that they're for everyone, which makes it really hard to compete. I know others target pre-workouts in the fitness sub-marketers, but that's not who we're targeting either. I knew that if we were going to have success, we need to call our people and get them to come to us. So I started to think, who are our people? When we created the supplement, I thought it was going to be for entrepreneurs. So should we call it Ignite Energy for Entrepreneurs? But when I realized that it wasn't just entrepreneurs, in fact, everyone who was pulling all-nighters when we were trying to launch ClickFunnels was using it. So it was also for coders. And then, almost like a bolt of lightning, I had the inspiration. I remembered an old Apple commercial where Steve Jobs recited this quote. Here is to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes. Who see these things differently. They were not found or rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or verify them. About the only thing you can do to ignore them, because they change things, they push the human race forward. And while some may see them as crazy ones, we see geniuses, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. After finding that quote, I knew our energy drink was for. Now we call it Ignite Energy for those who see the things differently. People say, yes, that's me. I see things differently. I am a rebel, an entrepreneur, a coder, someone who's trying to change the world. So that is how I create something that people can identify with. To get people to identify with our movement, come up and something simple that you can put on a t-shirt. Your members could wear that, would make them identify your movement. Think I am a or I. And this is what he's This is what he's talking about. Think am I blank or I blank. Are you a funnel hacker? Am I a lady boss? Do I build funnels? I see things differently. I am a biohacker. What could your tribe wear proudly on their chest? And number 4, create your own title of liberty. And next, we'll be reading about create your own title of liberty. And I hope you all enjoyed on tonight reading out of the book of Expert Secrets. And I hope you got some education on tonight. And we'll tune in on tomorrow on the next episode of Expert Secrets, continuing up pound secret number 2, going into pound secret number 3.